what we are appealing to the State Department and the US government is to make public these names.
Mm.
Because beyond just sanctioning them, they can pretend that they are not going to travel to US, they can go somewhere else. But if you make it public, it becomes news and scrutiny will go from there in Nigeria. So that's on the visa ban. When you ask what are the most effective ways?
Wait, yeah.
There's a bill in Congress called
Good day, everybody. It's another Friday, State of the Nation on the Atlanta Discourse channel. Yes, today it's a 2-in-1, or should I say 3-in-1? Because if you add me to the two guests, it's 3-in-1. They're all my friends. I mean, so it's going to be a fantastic discussion today. We're still on State of the Nation, Nigeria, and things have been happening, things are moving fast. Elections here. The other time we're talking about Armed Forces Remembrance Day. We've done absentee president. The president is back to Nigeria now. But then, just recently, about 24 hours or 48 hours back, there was another kidnapping of a church in Kaduna State. About one, some would say 167, some would say 177. The government of the state denied it, the police denied it. But now we actually have a list of people that have been kidnapped, not just in one church, not two, about three churches. And I'm sure you all know that Kaduna is symbolic for military installations, not just military police. It's the capital of the northern region. So moving into three churches, moving 100, 150, 160, 170 people, to put it mildly, it's a calamity and it's just sheer irresponsibility on the part of the Nigerian government. More so when they are still in denial about all these things. So, but then you want to discuss this type of thing, you have to go to the people that are not just saying it, that are putting a lot of actions to it. The real patriots, people that are fighting, people that have first-hand experience, people that have spoken to people affected, and they have spoken to people abroad, and they're doing a lot about it. So today we have Stephen Osemwegie of the Save Nigeria Group and Frank Utoo, my brother from Benin State. Yeah, Water Express, I call him.
Yeah,
Welcome, guys. How you all doing?
very well.
very
Thank you
well.
very much.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah,
for having us. Thank you for having us.
Well, I'm
yeah,
obligated. I think the first thing I have to say is to thank you guys for creating the
yeah.
awareness. What you're doing is a lot, especially at your cost to your family, your life, financially, and it's a lot. And now it's no more history. Everybody knows Nigeria is on the map of the world. But let's start. Should we expect more hair strike? Let me start with you, Stephen. Should we expect more hair strikes?
Well, we definitely have to expect more actions of the United States, whether
Mm,
it be airstrikes
mm,
or joint operations with the Nigerian government, which has
okay.
now decided to work with the US government.
Mhm,
There indeed is going to be further engagement in the future. In my
mm,
meeting with Riley Moore
mm.
last week,
Okay.
who was the Trump assigned delegation
Mm,
on this issue, working with Chairman Tom Cole of the House Appropriations Committee, who led the CODEL, which is a
mm,
congressional delegation to Nigeria. He mentioned that they are happy with the signs they are seeing from Nigeria, particularly with the release of Sunday Jackson
mhm,
and some other things they've asked them to do that they are now beginning to do. And he mentioned that they are working on an agreement, a document that will allow the US military and the Nigerian military to work in sync in order for them to fill the gaps where the Nigerian military needs capacity. So I expect more kinetic measures, such as we saw on Christmas Day, which
mm,
I call the Christmas gift from President Trump.
mm,
But beyond that, I think the terrorists will not have a field day, particularly with these reprisals they are now doing. So to answer your question, I expect more actions. And today we release a press release. Save Nigeria Group is calling President Trump to please finish the job, which was started on the 25th of December through direct kinetic actions, because the terrorists are now carrying out reprisals and kidnapping.
Okay, before I go to Frank, let me give you a follow-up on that. I mean, because what you said now is that the government of Nigeria is working, collaborating, that should be the right word, with the American government on everything happening and what have you. So why then are they spending money on lobbyists? Is that not working in cross purpose with what they're trying to achieve? I mean, the issue is in public domain. I've read statistics, international relevant statistics that are proving that, I mean, more Christians have been killed in Nigeria than anywhere in the world. So what is the purpose of getting the lobby if they're already they're working in cahoots with the US government?
That's a very good question. I
Mm.
could even ask that question to the Nigerian government. I don't speak for
Mm.
them, but what I do see is that there are elements within the current Nigerian government that are trying to maybe sabotage this joint partnership. It looks as though, I'm not inside the government, but it looks as though there is a camp that wants to work with the United States government and President Trump to end the genocide against Christians and other groups in the country, to bring to an end the onslaught of radical Islamic terror in Nigeria. But there seems to be a very strong camp who want to continue the killings. Like I mentioned in my interview on channels the other day, I said that these killings did not start today. Nigeria has undergone a silent genocide for a long time. It's just now coming to the fore because the international community, thanks to President Trump, are now spotlighting it. But what is happening is that the lobby thing, which I believe has failed already, because people like my colleague here, Frank Oto, is right here in America, here to tell the truth as a survivor. I'm also here, our organization here, Truth Nigeria and others are speaking the truth. So no matter what the $9 million lobby firm is going to do, like the hit piece on the screwdriver guy, it's not going to work because the truth will remain. So I want to say that there seems to be a group that wants to deny through lobby and misinformation, but there seems to be another group which Riley Moore is talking about, wanting to work together with the Nigerian government to end the insecurity, working with the US government. I think that camp will likely win because we are here to support such a camp, because we want a joint effort to end terrorism in Nigeria.
Fantastic. I mean, I think most governments anywhere in the world, you have people that are hawks that want things on. Now you have those that are moderates or doves. So it's not unexpected. Hopefully, good sanity will prevail at the end of the day. Frank, I saw your write-up on the screwdriver. I didn't know whether to laugh or to smile, or and to a very good extent, more than anybody I know, you have a lot of first-hand experience, IDP camps, you have families there. I mean, it was very emotional the other time we spoke when
Yeah.
you told me your sister gave birth to an IDP camp. You have people there,
Correct.
all that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's a two-question in one. The story about the screwdriver, why does I mean it's clearly a lot of baloney, like they say in America, but why do you think they have to descend to that level? That's one. Second question is on IDP camps. To the best of your knowledge, how many IDP camps do you know exist? Over to you, Frank.
All right. Thank you very much. Um, the matter of the screwdriver trader, where these guys, from the report of the New York Times, it claimed that America got intelligence from that. The whole thing sounds so awkward, And for those of us who have somewhat knowledge about this, you could see it from the upfront that this is part of the work of the DCI lobby group, to which these people contracted to launder their image. So they want to deflect the story. They want to change the narrative completely. They want the world, or the American audience, or the American public and other people to feel as if all these stories coming from Nigeria are from mischief makers, people who never really understood what is happening, who will only sit by their computers and then Google search some of these things and then concoct a figure. So the whole thing was quite childish. But for me, there's a silent but salient message behind this. And this message is that it shows that the Nigerian government is not serious in tackling this issue. For so long, many of us know that the enablers of this terrorism are in the government. The enabler. I assure you that if the government want to tackle this issue, 1 week is too long a time for this issue to be tackled all over the country. This Fulani terrorism, especially. So the enablers are in government, and I'm not the first person saying this. The government of the United Arab Emirates said it in 2022, when they apprehended some Nigerian terrorists in the UAE, and these Nigerian terrorists gave them the names of their enablers and a corresponding list that is in Nigeria. And the UAE authorities gave the Nigerian government this list. And it happened that in the list are names that were in the Senate, governors, ministers, and the Nigerian government could not do anything about it. So it died a natural death. That is one of the biggest embarrassments I've ever seen. Because a foreign country is helping you to fight terrorism to the extent that they prosecuted and jailed those of them that had their way to their own country. And they extracted names from them and sent to you. That's an Islamic nation, for goodness sake, the UAE. And they sent to Nigeria and not. So the enablers are in government. And just like the quote that is always attributed to Abacha, wherein he said, when any insurgency, which in this case, that this kind of insecurity, terrorism, lasts more than 24 hours in the country, it means the government has a hand in it. You know that the president of Nigeria is more powerful than the president of the United States, in quote.
Yeah.
Yes, because the president of Nigeria can have his way, because to a very great extent, the judiciary and the legislative arm in Nigeria are a rubber stamp. So the president of Nigeria will always have his way anytime, any day, to do anything he want to do. So if these guys are ready, they can crush this thing within a day. But you know, this issue of screwdriver, which we're expecting more to come, it's just a smoke screen. The smoke screen. Yes.
Chisel. Oh, God.
Yes. Yes, maybe the next team may be a Gary seller in Benin State, you know, a market woman in Benin State, and they'll put a picture, you know. So we expect many of this to come, but the underlying message behind it is that these guys are not serious, because if you are serious, your action will speak. It's not the rhetoric. It's not all about getting people to launder your image, getting people to publish articles in New York Times or Washington Post or BBC or Al Jazeera. The action will speak for you. We, the victims, will come out and start saying, yeah, we are seeing changes in our localities, in our communities. And so our people are going back. And that brings me to the second arm of your question.
Yeah.
The IDP camps. Our people are there. The IDP camps in Benue alone are more than 50.
Wow.
Yeah, in Benue City alone.
Wow.
Because you have IDP camps. Look, before now, Yerwata itself was an IDP camp.
Wow.
My village. Yes, because my village is placed on the federal highway. So settlements, adjoining thief settlements that are like 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer, 5 kilometer into the interior, where we're the ones who are threatened more than we, Yerwata, because in Yerwata we're at the federal highway and we have a detachment of the military in the primary school. So all these communities vacated their communities and came to Yerwata to seek refuge.
Wow.
Yeah, so Yerwata was an IDP camp itself. So when these terrorists came, they killed a lot of these people who were IDP themselves, apart from our own people in Yerwata.
Wow.
So these people moved to Makodi. So in Makodi, there are IDP camps. There are several IDP camps in Makodi. There are IDP camps in my local government of Guma, IDP camps in the headquarters in Bajimba, IDP camp in Daudu, another council of Kombawa, IDP camp at Uktam, in another council called Babai, the IDP camp at Otesi. This IDP camp at Otesi was raided about last month, where about 5 people were killed. The IDP camp at Otesi, you know, IDP camp at Yobo. That is just in Guma, my local government, so I could count up to 10 in my local government. There are IDP camps in Makodi, in North Bank Makodi. There are about 2 IDP camps at Utoo quarters. There's IDP camp at International Market. There's IDP camp at Agan in Makodi. That's on Makodi to Yerwata Road at Agan. You know, IDP camps. Then you go to the next local government to Makodi. It's called Gwe West local government. Gwen West have about 14 council wards. 12 of the council wards are completely vacated. 12 out of 14, 12 are vacated. So all those guys are in the IDP camp at the headquarters called Naka. Then you go to Idoma land. There are IDP camps in Agatu, IDP camps in Ohimini, IDP camps at Otukpo. Then you go to Logo local government. There are IDP camps. You go to Ukum local government, Benin, there are IDP camps. You go to Kwande local government, there are IDP camps in a place called Turan. That is a place where soldiers, the Fulani soldiers, killed about 60 men just 2 weeks ago. 60 men. So we suffer under Fulani and we suffer under the soldiers that they dispatch to Benue who are Fulani.
Wow.
So just in Benue alone, we have a lot of IDP camps. I don't want to talk about the IDP camps in Nasarawa State, especially Nasarawa South, that has lots of thief communities. All these guys are in the IDP camp. The IDP camp in Plateau are as much as the IDP camps in Benue. And then Southern Kaduna.
Wow.
So majority of our people, especially in my local government of Guma, majority of the people of Guma are more in the IDP camps than in their communities.
Wow.
Yes.
That's very saddening. Stephen, I know when this started, before the bombing, that there were sanctions. The United States came up with sanctions that they will sanction anybody that has anything to do with the killing of Christians, especially government officials and all that. Then subsequently we had the airstrike. Then subsequently there was visa ban. You understand? Now Nigerians are, I'm sure because of this Christian killing, now Nigerians cannot apply for visas except in very, very, very rare circumstances. Now, 2 in 1 now. Yeah. Now, how do you suggest that those that are behind these things, because like Frank said, some of them are in government, they are holding strategic positions. How can they be sanctioned properly? Because it does look like thus far, the sanctions that we have is affecting everybody, Christian, Muslims alike. You understand? If that's what would bring the solution to it, well, we don't know. But how would you rather, in your own estimation, based on your research, your exposure, where you've been and what you know, how do you think the United States should sanction those involved, and it will have a major impact?
Thank you very much for this for the question. I think there's something I need to correct.
Okay.
The visa restriction that Nigeria is under, which covers 95% of the visas, particularly B1, B2, F, and J visas, has nothing entirely to do with the sanctioning of sponsors of terror.
Absolutely.
That is not even targeted at Nigeria per se. Nigeria is just among the block of countries. More than 80-something countries. Actually was 20-something, mostly in Africa. Later, it has now been expanded to 87 countries or more. So that is not the sanction. The sanctions, which we are asking the State Department to publish names, is targeted at sponsors. On December 3rd, 3 days after our rally, which Frank also attended in Washington, D.C., when we had a meeting with the State Department on that same December 1st, and some of the testimonies that was given, I believe, made some impact in December 3rd visa restriction announcement by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who announced that sponsors of terror will be denied access to the United States. That was on the 3rd. So that sanction is targeted at people in government or civil society or in private enterprise that the United States government, based on their information, have tracked and said these people are sponsors. Those people already are now on visa ban, specifically, not just them, their wives and their families as well. But what we are appealing to the State Department and the US government is to make public these names. Because beyond just sanctioning them, they can pretend that they are not going to travel to US, they can go somewhere else. But if you make it public, it becomes news and scrutiny will go from there in Nigeria. So that's on the visa ban. When you ask what are the most effective ways? There's a bill in Congress called on the Senate floor by Ted Cruz called Senate Bill 2747 that calls for targeted sanctions at the sponsors of terror, as well as other things, including banning of blasphemy laws, abolition of these laws that they use to kill people like Deborah Samuels. That bill is before the Senate, and we are calling on Nigerians in diaspora, particularly America, all your Congress members, all your senators, to support Ted Cruz's bill. Because if that bill is passed in the Senate floor and signed into law by President Trump, it doesn't matter the administration that comes after. It doesn't matter the changes and winds that blow in the US political system. It becomes a codified law. And that law will not just sanction them by freezing their assets in America, but that law calls for the Magnitsky Act, which will freeze their assets globally and stop them from traveling globally. You know, most of these people, Nigeria is only where they go and die. They go when they are sick, they go to France. I don't want to be specific. When they are going to school, they go to London. When they want to holiday, they go to Dubai. It's when they are dead that their corpse come back home. So this Magnitsky Act will restrict these sponsors of terror to Nigeria so that they will face the music which they are playing for Nigerians. So that is one of the ways in which the sanctions can be targeted. This visa ban, I believe, is temporal because indeed it's not fair that Nigerians are being killed, particularly Christians, and they have no way to escape that. So I am appealing to the United States government, both privately and also publicly, to consider giving Nigeria a waiver for people that are at risk facing these killings to be able to come for refuge in a country that is wanting to protect their lives.
All right, fantastic. Frank, do you agree with that?
Perfect. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you said that a lot of these guys are in government, they are in the military and all that. So do you support that the list of whoever and whatever is involved should be released?
Yeah, like I said earlier,
Mm.
the UAE was able to even send a list to Nigeria, meaning they know them. And if you watch the press conference of the head of state of Nigeria,
Yeah, I saw that list, but they're not people that I know or that an average Nigerian knows. But the way we see it, there are people that are popular.
The list that you saw
Mm-hmm.
were just the foot soldiers.
Okay.
There are lists of the main sponsors.
Oh, all right.
So that is what the government has been concealing.
Oh, okay.
You know, the list that you saw were just the foot soldiers. And then the president of the military head of state of Niger Republic appeared in a television interview, one of these Nigerian television stations last October, and was able to talk about some enablers of terrorism in Nigeria, where he even mentioned the name of Ribadu, the mention of the former chief of Nigeria Intelligence Agency, NIA, Rufai, and some other persons. He was very blunt. It's there on, I have the video, the president of the head of state, military head of state of Nigeria Republic. You know, he said, yeah, these are the guys enabling terrorism in Nigeria, and these guys, the terrorists are emanating from Nigeria to invade his country, to carry out attack in his country. That's how embarrassing Nigeria has gone. That Niger Republic will say terrorists are coming out from Nigeria to carry out activities in his country and retreat to Nigeria. Can you imagine that kind of embarrassment? We become a refuge for terrorism. And that is why in one of my interviews recently, even when I was talking at the Congress, I mentioned that, look, Nigeria is the 5th in the entire world, the 5th largest country that has the highest number of Islamist terrorism in the world, only surpassed by Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq, and Somalia. Nigeria is number 5th. Only in Nigeria, you have Boko Haram, you have Ansaru, you have ISWAP, you have Lakurawa, you have Fulani ethnic militia, you have one that's called IJMI, that's Islamic Jamaat, Muslim, something Nasser, you know? So only in Nigeria.
Wow.
So what Steve said is the right that, look, we know the enablers, we know their foot soldiers, we know their sympathizers. So I feel the United States should be able to categorize this kind of people. That's from the enablers to the financiers to even the sympathizers, not just the foot soldiers, the sympathizers, and then sanction them rather than making a blanket sanction that affects even the most innocent.
Okay. Now, Congressman Riley Moore, I'm sure you know him. You've met him a couple of times. So
yes.
He was in Nigeria, part of a delegation. And from what we heard, I mean, from his visits, he will be recommending, there'll be some recommendation to the White House, rather, on what action need to be taken vis-a-vis Nigeria, killing of Christians and all that. So he had a first-hand experience, and he was able to get, information on ground from both government, people on ground, visited IDP camps and all that. Now, I have read recently that some of those recommendations might include a two-state solution, as in Nigeria for Christians and Nigeria for Muslims. Yeah. Now, this question I'm asking the two of you, do you think that's a way forward? Do you think it's a step in the right direction? Because what I read, I don't know how true it is, but where I read that it's one of the 2 or 3 recommendations to a final solution for Nigeria to avoid the killing of Christians. So let me start with Frank. Do you think that's a way forward if we have
Okay, so Ralimo was particularly in my state, in my own town, in Makodi,
visited? Okay.
And he met with my own Lord Bishop, Wilfred Chikwa Anabi.
Okay.
And the woman he met was actually her late husband was my cousin.
Okay.
The woman whose husband was killed, and 5 of my children, 5 of our children.
Oh, wow.
And even today, one of the victims sent. I was able to send school fees to one of the victims, a cousin of mine who lost his wife on that day with 3 of his children. So only one survived. I was able to send school fees for that one that survived, today. So those are people who are very dear to us, who are very close to us. So it's so unfortunate that sometimes you see it on TV and, they are talking stories. You just know that these are your people directly, So that is that side of Ralimo. And for his recommendation, look, I want America, like what they started in December on Christmas Day, if they can continue, because the Nigerian government is so unwilling to do that. And what the Nigerian government is doing right now is that they are selling a veil to the world. They are trying to deflect from the main issue. They are fighting because before now, the world was aware of Boko Haram. And so they are concentrating their fight against terrorism, since they assured America and the rest of the world that they're going to fight terrorism to a standstill. And so the fight is basically being concentrated in Maiduguri, in Borno State. So when you see them just displaying bodies of neutralized terrorists, they're just those in Borno State. We are saying the epicenter of terrorism is in the Middle Belt. They've not neutralized anybody in the Middle Belt. Those guys are still in our forest everywhere, because they are the Fulani militias, and so they are the biggest terrorist group in Nigeria, with the biggest backers in government and out of government. So they are not serious, but we understand their shrewdness. They're just trying to use the fight against Boko Haram and then show the international community that they are fighting terrorism. Meanwhile, they've left unattended the most vicious terrorist organization in Nigeria, the Fulani ethnic militia, who have saturated our forests all over, even beyond Middle Belt into the southeast and even southwest. So be that as it may, you said something about a two-state solution. Look, I'm a firm believer in the unity of Nigeria. But the truth of the matter is that our unity is negotiable. Nobody should say it's not negotiable. Because, look, in the United States, why the United States is united up to this very day was because in 1787, these guys sat in Philadelphia, had their constitutional conference, discussed how they are going to form a new nation, their nationhood, and they agreed amongst themselves. They brought the principles and the values that will hold the country together in 1787. And that was when they drafted that constitution. And in 1789, that constitution was ratified by 9 out of the then 13 states. And it became a constitution. And George Washington was voted president that year, 1789. And he ruled for 8 years. Now, that constitution that was drafted in 1787 up to today has just 27 amendments. These amendments were just additions, not that you are removing something and putting something new. It was just additions, just something that were not there before. Just like the First Amendment, Second Amendment, 22nd Amendment is the amendment of the tenure of office. Because there was no tenure before until when Roosevelt, Franklin, ruled for 12 years, was voted for 4 times. And then they had to go adopt the Amendment 22. Now, what I'm trying to say is that is how a nation is formed. You sit down and agree. Nigeria has never had that. Britain just sit down, just put the North and South together, and then form a union. So the union constantly has been exposed that it's not working. And like Obafemi Awolowo will say Nigeria is a mere geographical expression. It's just a geography. Because the people, look, a Fulani man today, a Fulani man in Nigeria, you are Adibalogo. A Fulani man in Nigeria today will love a fellow Fulani from Niger Republic and Burkina Faso more than you. He sees that one more of a brother than you. Okay, we're in the United States here. We know that the whites in the United States, they see you, who is a Hispanic, an American Hispanic, an American black, more of a brother than that white who is coming from Ireland. Because at that point, you call yourself the Americans. That American spirit unites you. But in United States, in Nigeria, that Fulani Katina sees the Fulani from Chad more of his brother than you. You've seen it recently in the AFCON, where you see it all over social media, where some Fulani guys are saying no, where they are supporting Morocco because Morocco are Islam against Nigeria. They say, oh, it's a match between Islam and Biafra. And Nigeria is Biafra. It's all over the social media. So you see, there's no unity. We're a nation that the Constitution defines in Section 10 as a secular nation. And the Constitution was so very explicit in Section 10 of Nigeria's 1999 Constitution. It says the government of the Federation or any of the states shall not adopt any religion as a state religion. It's so explicit. But 12 states in the north has adopted Sharia, which is a state. Nigeria is a secular nation, and I like making these analogies or comparisons. I say Senegal is 96% Muslim, but Senegal is not Sharia. They don't have Sharia anywhere. And the longest serving president of Senegal was a Christian for over 30 years, Leopold Songo. Meanwhile, that is a nation that is 96% Muslim. Sierra Leone is about 76% Muslim. But it's a secular country. Most of their presidents are Christian, including the current one, Ernest Bai Koroma. So because they don't put religion thing into politics, into national development. That is what I expect Nigeria to be. But these guys continuously, they will tell you that no, they want Sharia to regulate their life, their laws, more than the laws of the Federal Republic. And some of us have disagreed. So if this disagreement will persist, then for me, seriously, it's better they take their country away, we take our country away. They can name their country the Republic of Arewastan, Arewastan, to connect with Pakistan and Afghanistan. Let's have ours. But I believe in a united Nigeria only if we can agree with ourselves and be our brother's keepers. But if we can continuously have this kind of friction, where some other people they feel that even though their tribe got nothing to offer, but they carry the air of this dominance, then we can't want to live with this.
Stephen, what do you think? Do you agree? To the two-state thing? Do you think it's a way out?
Thank you. I think that's a very sensitive question. As Nigerians, it's very important that we look at reality. On the question around two states, the name of my organization, Save Nigeria Group, is attempting to save what we call Nigeria. I call it the Flora Shaw named territory. For those that don't know, Flora Shaw is picking back to the girlfriend of Lord Lugard, who after having a cup of wine said, let's call this place Nigeria. So that's how we became Nigeria. And Frank is very correct. We don't have the privilege of having sat down to come up with a country because of our history. I also am also a realist. Nations are not created by what Stephen wishes on a YouTube channel. Africa Digest. Nigeria was created by force, the military might of the British Empire. Nigeria cannot be split by anyone that is on social media, or the powers that be that run the world will decide what they want to decide. What I can do, what you and I can do, is to show what is happening and speak the truth, and let the powers that be make those decisions that are beyond you and I. I don't have the power to, even if I wanted, I'm from Edo State, even if I wanted Edo to be Dubai tomorrow, I don't know that I can do that. So let's focus on what the issue is. The reason why there's this side talk on dividing Nigeria, two-state solution, in fact, the two-state solution connotes Israel, Palestine, right?
I know. That's why I mean, that's that's
so that is, I think that is a propaganda. There is no Riley. I met with Congressman Riley Moore last week. He did not mention any such thing. As a matter of fact, he was even joyous on the partnership between the Nigerian government and the US government, and he said they are working on a document. So propagandists have gone to twist what Riley Moore is saying to suit their narrative. Don't listen to that. I don't believe we are even close. So this, my suggestion is that the reason why people are talking about all this side talk and propaganda, and I just wanted to react to Ruben Abati of Arise TV, who claims is that IPOB is the one speaking in America. We are both on this show. I lead an organization.
That was going to be my next question, actually, because that's why I asked on the two-state thing, and that is it part of the effort of the lobbies to make it look like an ethnic issue, as in this tribe versus that tribe and all that,
Yes, it is entirely, I suspect, part of the 9 million DCI propaganda to label anyone talking about Christian genocide. Oh, it's IPOB. No. IPOB is a different group. We are not part of them. They are not part of us. My organization wants to save Nigeria, to make sure Nigeria is safe for everybody, to make sure no Nigerian, according to my friend Aisha Yusuf, no Nigerian is more Nigerian than another Nigerian. In an egalitarian society is what we want, where Christians can go to their church, unlike the three churches that were ransacked. That will not be allowed to happen. Where Muslims can go and do their prayers in the mosque, and everybody goes about their business. The idea of somebody being afraid because he's a Christian or a particular tribe, it's what we are fighting against. So our conversation has nothing to do with the division of our country. I believe that Nigeria is actually too small. I'm of the view that Africa should be a united nation, a united Africa, where we can have one army, one educational system, multiple languages, where we can actually be able to compete with powers like China and the rest. Look at America. You live in Atlanta, I suppose. My brother is in Oklahoma. I'm in Minnesota right now. Each of these states is like a country in Africa, and they will have presidents with convoy.
Yeah.
Togo, smaller than Lagos, has a president. When they had a coup, they went to call Nigeria. Why did they not solve their problem?
The population of Ghana, Nigeria, and Lagos is the same thing.
So anybody talking about division does not understand that we are even already too partitioned and too small. Berlin Conference partitioned us, and we have not recovered. So more further partitioning. South Sudan, are they doing well today? They are having their own civil war and problems. So division is really not the solution, in my opinion. But we need to resolve this radical Islamic terrorism. Focus on the issue. Stop looking for diversions and the rest of them.
Fantastic. That's why I asked, because I'm sure you put it in proper perspective, and I'm happy that I think emanate from Riley Moore and his team. Okay, I have two more questions before we go. I know you guys are also pressed for time. Now, you've been making a lot of effort in this regard. You've been moving around, especially at your own cost and all that. Are you encouraged? I'm asking you, Stephen. Are you encouraged by the support of the Nigerians in diaspora, especially those based in the United States?
Nigerians in diaspora have sent goodwill messages online. They react, they chat up and like your message on Facebook. But that is the extent to the support base. Unfortunately, we are not a group of people who like to work together or support each other as we should. Unlike the Jewish community that band together, or the Hispanics, or even the Arabs here in America, or even any other major group. Even they band so Nigerians in diaspora need to do more together. We need to work together because this issue is about our country. You need to, when you see people doing something that agrees with what you believe, you should reach out and support that effort. And that is why Save Nigeria Group USA.org is a place to reach out to us and support our work. And also beyond beyond the likes on Facebook, we need to come together and actually, because now we have a $9 million war chest fighting our narrative. So if you don't support our effort on this side, then you are now setting us up for failure. For example, I've just been invited to come to address the conference on international religious freedom in Washington, D.C. when I just came back from the same Washington, D.C. So this time now, I'm going back again. I've already booked my flight and all that. Those are expense. So without support, how do you sustain such momentum?
So you are self-funded?
I am self-funded, actually.
Oh, wow.
And I'm hoping that will change. Maybe with time, as people begin to see what we are doing, they can try to reach out. But we do need support, absolutely.
Wow. Frank, that's your last question, Stephen, I know. So, but let me ask Frank his last question. I mean, you've seen that in the past, the United States has given temporary presence for some group of people in the United States, Haiti at its stage, people from Afghanistan at its stage, people from Ukraine and all that. Will you support a situation whereby people from, say, Yelwata, Benue, or Christian victim of this genocide are allowed? I think you said something similar to that, but I just wanted you to be emphatic and categorical about it. Will you support a scenario where the United States, okay, they can leave Nigeria just for their like refugees and come to Europe, come to America, they'll give them temporary, residence or permit to live and that. Do you think the United States should look into that?
Of course, why not? Because many of these guys in many of the countries you mentioned were not as threatened as my own people.
Okay.
We were sitting for a very long time. We've been sitting on time bomb, and we've been placed on the edge of a precipice, and that is why you see that at every point in time, our communities are being raided, and even as I speak, raids happen in my community almost every month. Almost every month, I've known the kind of people I've lost. Almost more than 50% of the guys I knew while growing up were all gone, not through natural death, but through these Fulani killings. So if a people are constantly at risk of attack and being killed like that, the United States, in one of our cardinal principles, it has the responsibility to protect R2P. So I know a lot of people that the United States has given cover who are in this country who were never really threatened like our own people. Many of these other countries were not really threatened like our own people. So why not, if United States could give my own people that kind of privilege?
Okay. Yeah, something just came to my head now before I allow you go. I'll quickly ask the two of you to just take a minute each to answer it. When all these things started, there was some reshufflement in the defense ministry. We had a new minister for defense, Musa, the former chief of defense staff. So my question in that regard is that, has there been any improvement? By your estimate, I'll start with Frank, then Stephen, you, and then we'll call it a day. Frank, gentlemen, do you think that when the new Minister for Defense came in, I mean, it's not been there for too long, but we hear they killed this, they killed that. Do you think there have been any major impact? Do you think there have been any difference? Do you think there have been any improvement compared to before? Or do you think it's just window dressing?
Okay, for me, I feel it's too young to start assessing him because he actually just came in, but he has that knowledge about our security, So I believe he will do better because he sounds better than even the guys who were there before. He always expresses good knowledge of the issues, and determination. So we'll wait to see. But I believe he will do better. It's too early for me to assess him. In my own state, there is no major attack like it has been previously. But of course, there are attacks going on every time. But this time, it's an attack of getting 3 people, 4 people. But before you see an attack of 50 people, 40 people in my community, 278 people, So basically, it's quite early for me to judge, but I believe he'll be better than his predecessors.
All right. Stephen?
Yes. In my interview on channels, I did mention that Minister Musa has hit the ground running. It's early days yet, but the signs are positive. However, there seems to be a concentration on the Boko Haram element, just like my brother Frank mentioned. The Fulani Islamic militia, which are very deadly, particularly against Christians and those in the Middle Belt. And even in my home state of Edo, we have villages that have been ransacked in Ovia Northeast, in Agenigbode, Edo North. People are deserted because of what they said were Fulani Islamic militias. This new minister is doing well against Boko Haram, but he seems not to have looked at the main problems we have. So I hope that with time we'll see more action. He did mention that things will change on his interview with Charles on Arise. So I'm looking forward to seeing more collaboration with the United States, because a man whose house is on fire should call for help. He shouldn't be picky. And the last thing I'll quickly say here is that the Minister for State for Defense, former Governor Matawale, has been accused of working with Turuji and other known terrorists. But this government, having brought Mr. Musa to as a shining light, has left this Minister for State, who's credibly been accused, even by the current governor of Zamfara, that he was housing the terrorists in Zamfara. Why is Matawale still in his position if the accusations are true? Those are the questions and divergent views of this government. In one way, they seem to want to work with US. In another way, they are sending $9 million to lie in America. So which one is it?
Interesting. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I know you're all tired. You all have things to do. Thank you for always honoring our call. We respect what you do. Keep the flag flying. And I know it's expensive fly here and there. So if you believe in what they're doing, especially Stephen, please, you go to their website. We'll put it, it's going to be in the chat box if you want to donate, and please feel free to help them out. It's what it costs, no doubt. I mean, whether Muslim or Christian, nobody should be hanged, killed, maimed, or treated like a mere animal. It's not fair. And to the government of Nigeria, we have to be as constant as the Northern Star. You know, one moment you're cooperating, one moment you are aiding and abetting. There's a lot of confusion in the land. So let's just get it right. Nigeria is the largest concentration of Black people on the planet, you know, the beacon of the Black race, especially when it got independent. Nigeria is acting behind schedule. It can be better. And one of the best ways to do it is to lead by example. So once again, thank you, Frank. Thank you, Stephen, for coming. And we look forward to see you next time.
Thank you.
Welcome, Ade.